Hola, hola, hola. Soy Brianna Céspedes. Super great to be back with you all. I hope you had an amazing Easter weekend and a great Resurrection Sunday as we celebrated the resurrection of our Lord. And I missed you all. I know that 1 week without Cuba, you can't handle it. Well, I couldn't handle it either, to be honest. And this episode's a little bit difficult. They all are a little bit difficult, I guess. But this episode is difficult because it has to do with how buddy China and Cuba are. And honestly, I think by the end of this episode, you're just going to get an appetizer into how involved China is in our neighboring country. And the United States, I think, should be a little bit more afraid or aware or whatever word you want to use about what is happening just overseas, just over a few miles of sea, not that far. And that's what we're going to be speaking about today. Now, mind you, just giving a disclaimer, there are so many different avenues I could have taken this episode. I'm just going to be blurting out some facts. If y'all want to fact check me, please do. If you want to correct me, please do. If I'm saying things wrong, like the president of the Chinese Communist Party, Xi Jinping, I believe is how you say it. I'm sure I'm not saying it correctly. Please feel free to correct me, and I want to learn. But this is what I found. I will attach some articles so you all can check my work as well. First off, I'm going to tell you something that one of the international students here told me. He's from China, and his father is a general in the military, in the Chinese military. And he said something interesting. A lot of the college students in China join the Chinese Communist Party because it's seen as like some sort of honor, and it brings you up in society. And he said that there are other options, though, of parties that you could join. But as is his experience, which his father went through, once his father got to a certain rank, he had to join the Chinese Communist Party. Otherwise, he would not be successful and he would not be able to promote. He would be kicked out completely. So China gives the appearance of some sort of choice, but when you come down to it, not much of a choice there. They are a communist government. That's how they work, even though they're a strange type of communism. And it's interesting to see what that affects in regards to power and plans. For example, President Xi Jinping, Secretary General of the Chinese Communist Party, who's been in charge since 2012, he has established a few plans, things like the Belt and Road Initiative, which I will be talking about a little bit more extensively towards the end of this podcast. And they have been quite strategic in relationship to Cuba. So when it comes to Cuba, if you all remember when President Obama was trying to establish closer ties, there was actually a few things that were happening with China and Cuba at that time. So China recognized that they had to race for this type of relationship, and they secured a project to expand Cuba-Santiago container terminal, funded by over $120 million Chinese bank loan. There's a lot of pushes for biopharmaceutical firms and medical supplies. They are actually the largest medical supplier for Cuba. And they also set up an artificial intelligence center on the island back in 2019 with the University of International Studies of the Chinese province of Hebei and Camagüey in the center east of Cuba. In the agricultural sector, Chinese companies are increasing sugar and rice production. They're improving irrigation to boost crop yields and providing tractors to plow Cuban fields. And the Beijing Enterprises Holdings was building a $460 million golf resort on the island. This was back in 2016. They also have a computer assembly plant. They are training Chinese personnel in the Spanish language. They have a Confucius Institute in the University of Havana. And they also had a Chinese ship visit to the port of Havana in 2016. If we want more recent data, we'll also see new evidence for Chinese intelligence facilities in Cuba. This was as of 2024 December. These intelligence facilities were used for signals intelligence to monitor U.S. activities. There's a new radar site near Santiago de Cuba, but there has not been confirmation of Chinese troops or permanent military bases. However, there have been suspicions of military bases in Cuba from China, where the Chinese military has been training the Cuban military after the 2021 protests. And in 2023, there was reports of China and Cuba negotiating a joint military training facility as well. And since we spoke of the protests, it is also well known that Cuba, as their only internet source provider, uses a Chinese company, and that Chinese company assisted in surveillance of the protesters, in helping essentially crack down on the protesters and imprisoning them and stopping the communication island-wide. So we have all of those industries. We also have just some facts on trading here. Venezuela is the number one trading partner, and then we have China at a close second. Cuba exports most of its products to China, and then Canada as well, actually. China has gotten into every single industry, as I just said, but they recently actually just finished a conference this last week called the Cuba Salud Conference, which means Healthy Cuba Conference, and they made 15 agreements with China, and those include everything varying from medical supplies to technology that is going to assist, they say, in language and in development. But what other plans does China have? That's the question that we Americans probably should be asking. Also, China is Cuba's largest creditor. They have donated food, medical, and solar supplies. So solar panels, they are providing electricity for the island. And as I said before, Cuba is an active member of China's Belt and Road Initiative. Now, if you have not heard of what the Belt and Road Initiative is, the best way that I can describe this is it is an initiative on the part of China to become independent of the United States and to be able to trade and access energy and oil without dependence upon the United States. So to date, 147 countries are a part of this, and they are signing on to projects. If they are not able to fund these projects, then China actually gets mineral rights to those areas. And the vision, which is Xi Jinping's vision, is to create a vast network of railways, energy pipelines, highways, and streamlined border crossings to these areas to become completely independent, as well as a form of Chinese currency that can be used internationally. So, in relationship to Cuba, if we ask the question about Cuba being a part of this Belt and Road Initiative, which aims for China to have independence when it comes to their trade, their currency, their access, when Cuba is right on our border, what kind of questions do those raise? China started this initiative back in 2015. They had a plan of Made in China 2025, which was an economic development strategy, and they have been pushed back because of COVID, but they've already permeated into so many countries, and they own so many markets, and they are making themselves very powerful. Cuba is completely dependent upon China. Cuba is completely dependent upon Russia, especially in this moment. And I think that should give us pause to ask certain questions and wonder if our policy on the United States side, if we're doing the most we can to make sure that we as the United States are safe, and also, of course, for the Cuban people, whether or not they are just going to be owned by one of these other governments. All I can say determinately is that China and Cuba are extremely close, and China has a larger influence than I think the United States should be comfortable with, and that should lead us to action of some sort. So, that is all I'm going to have to say on that. That's all I can say at this moment. I could have gone down 50,000 rabbit holes, but I've tried to stay a little bit high level there. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. I will warn you that weekend by weekend, I'm not sure in the next couple weekends whether I will be able to keep up this podcast, just because I am currently about to take finals and transitioning, moving to another state. So give me some grace. If y'all don't hear from me for a couple weeks, just know I'm coming back with more news about Cuba.